do what we call an LCTC. It's a load check and a tire check. So why don't you just hop out with me and let's do this. Okay, so we'll start with front tire. Kick it pretty good. Go down here, check out the load, check out the tires. Gonna do a little kicking. Yeah, got a little kicking. Heck yeah. Check the straps, make sure they're all okay. Check out these tires over here. Yep, good. I've been watching this tire here because it's kind of bald on the side, but I always put the crappy tires on the end. I mean on the trailer. Check out my lights. They're all working. Check out the load. I had to put the tarps on the back end because the way they loaded this thing, it was I was over actually on my drive, so kick the tire, kick the tire. Kick the tire, kick the tire. There we go. There you have it. Kind of a weird load. They put these boxes up on top of these pipes, and I've got some steel bar in there for some things, some pipes. Got a whole stack of these things. Going to a construction site, so I had to put an unusual amount of straps on this load. So I've got two here on these two boxes here. I've got two. And I've got two on these. And then I put this on here just because I wanted to kind of put some weight down, you know, up here on these bars that are sticking out, because they're like in the middle of all these big old pipes. And well, you gotta have two straps per layer. And so the way I have it is this is over the top, so this one goes all the way over the top, and then this is the bottom layer, this is the second layer, and then I've got the box up there, so I've got these two straps here holding that down. Here's my gut wrap, my belly wrap, you know, so it's wrapped all the way around it, kind of hold them inside. As you can see, kind of like this thing here, which was holding the pipes together, is kind of squished in a little bit because I got it, you know, in there snug. And then I've got two straps for that next crate up on top, because I got two crates on top. Then I've got this is my second first layer strap. I got the other one down there with alternating pull. And then this is my second layer, my second layer strap. And then this is a strap, and I'd put a twist in it on this one, on this side, because it was kind of vibrating on me. So that goes over the top layer, over the whole thing. And then I've got two straps on this little bundle of stuff here, and then two straps over here, which is also holding my my tarps in. So I've got 20 straps on this thing, and it only weighs like about 47,000. So each strap, because my rug rail, which I'll show what a rug rail is. This thing right here is a rug rail. It's what the straps, you know, hook onto. So the rug rail is rated at 4,000 pounds. So it doesn't matter that your straps are, you know, rated for 5,400 and some odd pounds. It's whatever your rug rail is rated for. So I can sit there and count the 20 straps, okay? And so 20 times 4,000 is going to be 80, and that's way more than what I do have on here. But you got to make sure that you're covering the 4 movements: up to down, side to side, toppling, and then forward to back. And so when it comes to that, sometimes you got to use a little bit, you got to use more straps than what it's rated for, just to make sure you got your 4 movements covered. And that's what I did. As I'm going around right now, I'm making sure that all of my lights are on. So I mean, it does take a little while to do a load check, tire check, but I'm explaining a lot of things to you guys too. So, you know, typically, you know, it takes me, you know, 2-3 minutes tops, you know, to do it. If I have to do any adjusting, then, you know, there's going to be some more time on there. But right now, just covering the last part of it. And you know, the thing is when I get ready to shut down for a night and I do my post trip, I don't flag a load check, tire check, because if you think about it, when you're doing your post trip, it's, you know, post trip inspection. So your post trip inspection is going to cover your load, and it's also going to cover elements of, you know, your pre-trip and your post-trip inspection. So I break up my pre-trip and post-trip inspection in different sections. So we'll start with in the cab. So in the cab, you know, you do your cab part of your pre-trip, post-trip inspection. And that's, you know, checking your mirrors, your windshield, your wipers, all of your lights on the inside, your heater and your fan, your seat belt, making sure that you do have, you know, the gear that you need, you know, your emergency triangles, a fire extinguisher. You also can do the in-cab air brake test, and there's a couple of parts to the in-cab air brake test that you do. There's also, you know, checking your gauges and making sure all your gauges are functioning. And the nice thing about doing the in-the-cab air brake test is that, you know, you're checking to see that your brakes do work, that your governor cut-in is coming on when air pressure gets low, and that your release valves work when your air gets low. So that would be like in the cab pre-trip, post-trip. Okay. Then you have also around your door, you know, they want you to make sure that it has a good seal. They want to make sure that you know, your hinges are functioning properly, your door closes properly and opens properly. Then we move outside. Okay. And when we move outside, there's the front of the truck. So when you first approach your vehicle, you look to see if it's, you know, sitting kind of funny, because that could be an indicator of you know, a broken leaf spring, or some other things that could go wrong with your truck. If it's kind of sitting like, you know, all, you know, crooked, whatever, it could be a tire that's low, whatever. Then you pop open your hood, and underneath your hood you check all of your motor compartment. Okay, and in your motor compartment, you know, part of the things that you check your fluids. So that would be your oil. That would also be your antifreeze container. You know, and also you'd want to, you know, check windshield wiper. You also want to make sure that, you know, you're checking any of your power steering, your brake fluids, if you have that type of a setup on your truck. You also want to check all your belts. Make sure that your belts aren't worn, torn, frayed. You also want to check all of your tubing that goes from, you know, the fluid compartments into the motor and to its appropriate places. Make sure that they're not worn, torn, frayed, or bulging. You know, you just make sure that everything really looks good. Then you get into checking your tread depth, your tires, your whole air brake system, your friction material, and you check, you know, your pitman arm. You check your leaf springs. You make sure that there are no unnecessary welds or any missing bolts and stuff. You know, just your basic stuff around the front end. And you know, you check for leaks and stuff too. Anything visibly that you can check. You check your rims. You know, you make sure that your lug nuts, you know, are tightened, that there's no rust, you know, or this white kind of material that goes around it, which could indicate like there'd be a crack or something in the rim, or loose lug nuts. And then you also check your hub seals. Make sure that, you know, you got the proper fluid in your hub seals, because that is extremely important. And then you go from the front end. You know, you can show your hood and stuff. Then you go towards the back end of your trailer, and you do basically the same thing around your drive tires. You check your air lines and make sure that they have proper seals, and you make sure that your electrical connector to your trailer is, you know, working, and there are no, you know, frayed wires or any kind of rips, tears, or whatever in your hoses, your electrical cable. Make sure everything's all fine there. You also look for any unnecessary welds. You look to make sure that your fifth wheel is connected properly and that it's functioning, that there are no loose lug nuts, or you know, not lug nuts, but you know, there are no loose bolts or missing bolts or unnecessary welds and stuff on your on the frame of your trailer or on the fifth wheel area. Make sure your fifth wheel is connected, if you're connected to a trailer, you know, around the kingpin, and that locking device is in there. And you know, from there you do the same thing around each tire, checking your lug nuts. You check your rims, you check your tires, you check your brake drums, your friction material, all of your air brake chambers, and your hoses and stuff for the same thing. Then from there you look up underneath your trailer. You check to make sure that you know, then that there is a bulkhead, and If not, put one on a flatbed if there's room. I didn't have any room to put a bulkhead up on my trailer the way they loaded it, so, and it was a preloaded trailer, so that's kind of what you have to deal with. But you check the integrity of the actual trailer itself. Underneath, up on the sides, your rug rails all the way down. You get to the rear of the trailer, you're still doing the same thing. You're checking all of your brake chambers, all of your hoses. You're checking the insides of your brake drums, your friction material. You're checking each wheel and each rim. You're still looking for the same things, any cracks or anything in the rim, the indicators that you use to find those around the lug nuts. And you also check, the integrity of the frame underneath, the frame of the trailer. And then you get to the back, you check your DOT bumper, and you check the back of your trailer. So then there's the trailer, and then there's the light part of it, and the nice thing is about these KWs, and I think there's a lot of the trucks that are going to this, they actually have a little switch in the cab that will cycle through, so you can click that on and then walk around your truck and see all of the lights cycle through the system. The four-way flashers, high beam, low beam, left turn signal, right turn signal, and you can go down the side of your trailer, making sure that all of your lights are on and that you have that covered. So it makes it a little bit easier with that little function inside the truck. Other than that, that's pretty much pre-trip, post-trip. And so getting back to what I originally was stating, whenever I do a post-trip, I'm checking different sections, and so I just don't find it necessary to flag a load check, tire check when that's part of my pre-trip, post-trip. And so that's kind of how I do that. And once you get loaded, initially the first 50 miles, the first hour, you have to do a load check, tire check, and then after that it's every 150 miles or 3 hours. So you're always in a prime location to make sure that you're stopping every 150 miles, if you're continuing a trip, or when you're first starting out, the first 50 is pretty crucial because you got to really check your load because it shifts and stuff. And so then that takes care of bathroom breaks. Honestly, it's like I can do a load check, tire check, boom, flag it off duty, go use the restroom, and I'm good to go. So I don't have to have any unnecessary stops along the way. And well, it just makes for planning your trip out a little easier. And one of the things that I really appreciate is, like, I wasn't doing a load check, tire check whenever I was hauling a reefer trailer or van trailers. And sometimes I'd notice I'd be going down the road for 5 hours and then it was like, oh crap, I gotta go to the bathroom, when realistically I should have been every 150 miles doing some tire checks and load checks. But I don't know, and it's the law though, it's the law, you have to do that. And it's not just for flatbed, but it's in the FMCSA book that you have to, the Federal Motor Carriers book, that you have to, and it doesn't specify whether it's flatbed or van or whatever, it's just all trucks. So anyways, that's all I've got. So I hope you enjoy the footage of the mountains and stuff, and well, I'll check you out later. Peace out, Hair Nation.